room. Okay, we are recording. I'm just going to change my view. Let's see who we've got. Delighted that there are over 50 of you. I'm also, I think, the co-host now. If you could stay on mute, that would be helpful for me, for others. There's a bit of background noise. Somebody called IM could go on mute, I think. I'm going to begin in a minute. Let's just have a look around. I know there's lots of familiar friends and colleagues from ITEL. Okay. And I hope that you'll be able to comment in the chat throughout my talk. I hope that you'll be able to ask questions also in the chat. If you have a question, maybe tell me what your name is. You can put a Q or something, show that it's a question. I'll be trying to have a look at those as we go along. So as Tora said, my name's Colm. I am working for the British Council. I live in Jakarta, in Indonesia. I live in South Jakarta. I work from home at the moment, like many of us. You're going to witness some new things today, Fajar, that I've never done before, so hopefully it will be new. And I've been to Salatiga only briefly, to be honest, because I have driven a couple of times from Jakarta to Semarang to Jogja. My wife is from Central Java, so sometimes I drive even further than Salatiga. I drive almost to Surabaya, past Pati and Kudus and places like that. So you're right in the center of Java, and I think it's a much more beautiful location for your university than in the traffic, macet-filled, polluted, heavy Jakarta. So really pleased to be with you on this occasion of your English language conference, focusing on technology and language learning. Let me ask Tor to just tell me a little bit about, before I jump straight in, about our participants today. I'd like to know a little bit about, are most of the participants, Tor, all current students at the university?
From what I saw in the registration form, actually most of them come from outside our university. Many are university lecturers and English teachers in schools. Okay. So only few students actually.
All right. So we have then English teachers working in schools and universities, possibly from across Indonesia, lecturers.
Yes, yes. And there are some also from other Asian countries.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I'm going to share my screen for a minute. Here we go. Actually, let's start with this. I don't want you to open this link right now. This is the opening slide, and actually, you're going to see I'm going to use very few slides today. But the objective of my talk, as I've said, today I'm going to be talking about using online survey tools to teach, monitor, and assess language learning. I quite like conducting surveys, doing research. There are many different research tools available. Some of them are free, some of them have a freemium model. So there's a free version, but it's got slightly more features if you pay a little bit extra money. And although I've been using these tools over the last year for the traditional purposes, to conduct research, sometimes we use these tools to collect data as part of the registration process for webinars and conferences like this one today. I've started reflecting on how we could adapt and use these tools, possibly to teach English, to monitor our learners' progress, and monitor and assess, possibly to test their language learning progress. Now, I've created a survey for us today, and most of my talk is going to consist of us working together. My survey has 10 questions. We're going to do it together. This is the link to the survey. Don't rush. This is the QR code to the survey. So if you have a mobile phone with you, I appreciate that you might be using your mobile phone to watch this webinar. So I don't know if you have another mobile phone or another mobile device, or whether you can do two things at once and just listen to my voice. But I hope you'll find a way to be able to click on this QR code or this bit.ly link. And if you can, then hopefully you should see this page. So I'm just going to open the chat for a minute and see how many people. Just say yes if you are able to open my survey. Can I get anybody in the chat? Yes, thank you very much. Oh, good, nice. I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Good. There's a few of you that are saying yes, you can open the survey. Great. We're going to see the results afterwards, and we're going to see this survey, or my survey that I've created. It's not a perfect lesson. Maybe it's not a very good lesson, but we'll see what my lesson is about. Let's have a look. Let's start my lesson. Well, first of all, you got to type in your name, because if I get all these results in afterwards, if I don't ask you your name, I'm not going to know which of my students is sending me some information. So I better put my own name in. You could just put your first name. So put your name in. Okay, now the second question we're going to do together. See, what's clever about this survey, it's nice, it remembered, I can use this function, it remembered my name. That's quite a nice touch. So it says, thanks, Colm. Now tell me, on a scale from 1 to 10, how well do you know the second conditional? Oh, that's a mistake, sorry about that. But the question is, how well do you know the second conditional? Is it not at all or very well? Tor, how well do you know the second conditional?
I think let's say from 0 to 10, let's say 9.9.
A 9?
No. Okay, 8.
8. All right. I think I know it pretty well. I'm going to give myself a 9. Okay. So you're a bit of self-assessment at the beginning. This is a ranking. No, so this is it's yeah, from 1 to 10. It's a rating question. Okay, I'm going to give it a 9. Now, I'm not going to answer this question yet. I want all of you to answer this question. Is the following statement true? Yes or not? Is it true? Yes, it's true, or no, it's not true? Tor, do you want me to put you on the spot? Maybe I shouldn't. Let's what are people saying in the chat? Or maybe you can't cheat. I don't want you to cheat. I want you to answer this yourself. Is it true or false? True, yes or no? Let's see. Oh, let's see what people put. I'm going to put no. I'm not saying it's no, right? I'm just being a student. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Let's go on to the next one. Well, it was true, actually. I've told you here it was true. So this is actually a bit of a mini lesson that I've written here. This is just a statement, okay? It's just a statement about the second conditional. So I'll keep going on. It was true. The second conditional is used in situations or in actions in the present or the future which are not likely to happen or are imaginary, hypothetical, or impossible. So when do you use the second conditional? The second conditional is used to express the consequence of a very unlikely action in the present or the future. See the timing, it's in the present or in the future. And it is used to express the consequence of something that is very unlikely or imaginary or impossible. So if it's extremely unlikely, I think they could be even higher. For example, winning the lottery is extremely unlikely. So we've got this: if I won the lottery, I would travel around the world, but the chances of this happening are very, very small. So we use this second conditional structure. Actually, because I'm doing a live webinar, I could ask you, actually, could somebody in the chat put the grammatical structure for the second conditional? You're all English teachers, you should know this. It's very easy. Let's see who's brave enough to put in the grammatical structure. Yeah, Fajar, that's not the complete grammatical structure. What is it? I'm thinking of 4 components. So if plus, what do we use? Anybody else? So our grammatical structure, if plus, I'll put it in the chat. Subject, verb 2, would, verb 1. It's not that clear. What tense is in the verb? If, oh, there we go. We've got if plus the past simple. Present conditional? Is it? No, it's not. It's like would plus present infinitive. No, there's if plus past tense plus would plus base form. Yeah, I call it the bare infinitive. Okay, if plus past simple plus would plus, is that right? It's been a while since I did a grammatical lesson. All right, anyway. So, and we're using it in this case when something is unlikely. Very low probability, a 1% chance of winning the lottery. Okay. I don't know how I managed to write on my screen with this green line. That was something that's happened, that's never happened to me before. So I'll try to clean that in a minute. Let's see if I stop sharing for a second, bring it back. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. I'm bringing back my screen. Right, it's clean again, and I'll put the chat up again. So, first example, if I won the lottery, I would travel around the world. It's a very low probability that the first part of this would happen. Yeah? So the probability is in this happening is very low. I'm using if plus the past simple. If I won the lottery, not if I win the lottery, but if I won the lottery. But the second bit is 100% certain. The second bit is 100%. So if this unlikely thing happened, I would do this. Now the second example is a hypothetical. This is not about chance. This is about, again, looking at when we use it, we said in a hypothetical scenario. So if I had more free time, that means I don't have more free time. So it's 0. It's a hypothetical. If I had more free time, I would play more sport. Yeah, I did get rid of the annotation. That was, it was annoying. All right, let's go to the next page. So you've understood, I've given you a mini lesson, okay? And obviously, I could have just sent you this. We don't have to do a webinar for this, but you could have just read it because I just sent you the survey by WhatsApp, yeah? Next question together. There are 4 sentences here. Which of the following sentences are written using the second conditional? You can choose more than one, A, B, C, or D. Because we are live, yeah, Alessandro has already put in 2. Okay, put your own answer on your phone. We're going to look at the answers in a minute. I wonder, Tor, have you ever been to Umbu Songo waterfall? Or Francis, or anybody from Salatiga? Apparently it's very nice. It's near Salatiga. All right, you can put in your answers. We might come back to this later on. Let's see, okay, because we're doing a live, we can extend my lesson a little bit. Which one of these sentences is using the third conditional? The third conditional. Who can tell me in the chat? Very good. All right, I've got a different question for you in the chat then. Which of these sentences is using the first conditional? All right, first conditional, good. Now, that's an easy question in a sense, and you're all just writing D, and that's true, it's the first conditional. But remember what I said about the second conditional when we use the second conditional. Why, here's a harder question. Why am I using the first conditional in sentence D and not the second conditional? Who can explain why? Why would I use, look at the sentence, look at the content of the sentence. Why am I using the first conditional and not the second conditional? You get bonus points. Ah, very good, Ratna. It's very possible to happen. The likelihood is higher, yeah. So am I confident about my exam? How confident am I about my exam? I'm looking at the chat. Tell me. How confident am I feeling? Am I feeling very confident or not very confident? Yeah, I'm feeling very confident. I'm feeling super confident. I think the chance is very likely, yeah? So if I pass my exams, you know, it's in my mind, I'm thinking it's a good chance, right? If I pass my exams, I'll move to Bandung. If I was feeling extremely unconfident, if I thought the chances of this happening were, you know, it's possible, but it's very unlikely, extremely unlikely, what would I write instead? Can you tell me can somebody write the full sentence? If I thought the chances of passing my exams were, if I thought the chances were very, very, very low, what would I write? Excellent, very good, Alessandro. If I passed my exams, I would move to Bandung. Yeah, so I would use the second conditional. All right, let's move on. That was very good. So this is for you. This is your, there's no answer here. So if you have your phone open right now, I told you what I would do. I said, if I had more free time, I would go to Where did I say I would go? I would go to Umbul Songo Waterfall. It's up to you to finish the following sentence with your own words. Tor, what would you do if you had more free time?
Okay. I was going to say something personal, but canceled. All right. If I had more free time, I would play more with my kids.
Good. I would play more. Okay. I would play. You can write whatever you like. Okay. You can write whatever you like. Now, a little bit harder. This is the longest question. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to think about it. I just want you to write 2 more sentences, any sentences using the second conditional below. We are about 60% of the way through my lesson. We're on question 6. We're going to get to question 10, and then the lesson will be over. You will have learned a little bit more about the second conditional, but we will be thinking about this tool and how you can use this tool both synchronously, like I'm using it, or asynchronously. But there's something really important about it. At the end, we're going to get results from individuals. Oh, Inda, you said if you had more free time, you'd go traveling. Yeah, I think I would go traveling. And Septia would finish her reading list. Okay, 2 more sentences, any sentences, we'll look at them later. Now, this is interesting. This is new. I think this is going to be new for many people, because we also use the second conditional for other functions. Okay, you can use the second conditional to make very polite requests. So this is different. This is not talking about the consequences of unlikely situations. This is a different use of the second conditional for a different function. It's talking about polite requests, not just a request, but actually I would say a very polite request. It's very polite English. Okay. Would you mind if I used your computer? See, this is, you can see here, if I used, you still got that past form of the verb. Yeah. Would you mind if I used your computer? Would it be okay if we sat here? Sat is in the past, right? But I'm using it in the present. I'm using it now. I'm asking a question. I'm saying politely, excuse me, would it be okay? Do you mind if me and my friends sat here? Okay. Would it bother you if I closed the window? So these are very polite requests. Now I know in Bahasa Indonesian, depending on who you're speaking to, if it's maybe an older person or more senior person, you use more polite bahasa than if you're speaking to maybe younger people. A lot of it depends on seniority and the age, right? But you have different levels of politeness. So this is a much more advanced lesson around second conditional. You probably have never taught this function. So let's just focus on this for a minute, because this is getting the advanced lesson. If I were just talking to my age, my friend, and I don't need to be so polite. Instead of writing, would you mind if I used your computer? What could I say much more directly? Tell me in the chat if I was going to be really direct. This is very polite. Would you mind? Yes. Okay, Ratna, exactly. To my friend, I say, hey, Ratna, can I use your computer? Can I use your computer? But if I don't know you, you're a stranger, maybe it's an emergency, I might say, excuse me, Ibu Ratna, would you mind if I use your computer, please? Do you see the difference? Yeah, so I could be very direct because I know you, because you're familiar, because you're a friend, or I could be very polite, okay? What about the second one? Would it be okay if we sat here? What's more direct? What's just, what do I say if it's, just some other students? Yes, good. Can we sit here? So, hey, can we sit here? Is that okay? But if it's, in a theater, you need to be very polite, very, very polite. Would it be okay if we sat here? What about the last one? Would it bother you if I close the window? Would it bother you if is a very polite structure? So instead of saying, would it bother you if, I would probably say, can I close the window? Yeah, that's very direct. But you still need to get the sense of, I would say, do you mind? Do you mind if I close the window? So do you mind is not so formal. But would you mind is more formal. Okay, I'm going to give you one last example for your lesson, okay? As I said, it depends on the situation, the context, who you're speaking to, like, do you know them? Are they older than you? But very importantly, what you're asking for, okay? So imagine that you want some money from me. Okay, you want to borrow some money. Now let's say that you want 10,000 rupiah. No, I give you 20,000. You want 20,000 rupiah. Okay. What would you say to me if you wanted 20,000 rupiah and you're my friend? What would you say? What question would you ask me? Anybody in the chat? You can be direct with me. You know me. It's only 20,000. What question would you ask me for this amount of money? Somebody's going to ask me in the chat. Be brave. Nobody wants to ask me for any money. You would say, if you're being very direct, you might just say, lots of things. You could say, could I borrow 20,000 rupiah? Could you lend me 20,000 rupiah? Yeah, could you lend me? Can I borrow? Can I borrow 20,000? Hi, Colm. Could you lend me 20,000 so I can, get some lunch? But what if you were going to ask me for 1 million? 1 million is a lot of money. So you wouldn't say, hey, can I borrow 1 million? You might say, oh, Colm, would you mind if I borrowed, 1 million? So depending on the level of money, you would use different language. Let's go to the next question. Here's a cartoon. This is a, you have to imagine who this person is calling. It looks like a business situation. What is this person saying? And they're gonna, it's a very polite request. So I would like you to finish the polite request using your imagination. Would you mind if, what's the end of this caption? Okay, moving on to question 8. Oh, here we are. It's a cartoon. You can read the, you can see the cartoon. Let's read what it says. Do you mind if I strap your phone to my forehead so I can pretend you're looking at me when I talk? So she's asking, can she put the phone on her head? Because he's looking at the phone, so she can pretend that he's looking at her when she talks to him, because he's not talking to her. Do you think that's a funny cartoon or not funny? Let's see if you think that's funny or not. Grace thinks it's funny. Okay. I'm sorry if you couldn't see it on the screen, but you should be able to see it, or if you're doing the survey live. Next, here's an interesting question, right? We're almost at the end. This is getting much harder. It's advanced level now. Which conditional is being used here? I've said discuss which conditional is being used with the person sitting next to you, if like this was in an English lesson in a classroom. Ah, see, it's challenging. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Can you explain why the second conditional is not used in this example? It's not the second conditional. Could you explain? All right, well, that's the end of my 10 questions on type form. Oh, there should be, oh, type your answer here. That was the end. Now, here's the interesting bit about my presentation. So we've finished it. Now we go, this is inside my survey. It's called type form. So if I go to the results now, we're going to explore the results together. This is what you would be able to do as a teacher. So even though there are many of you, only 8 people have, there were 33 people started this survey. So I need to get better at getting you to finish it. 8 people finished it, submitted it, okay? 39 people, well, 39 people looked at it, 33 started. You got scared. Anyway, 8 submitted it. So let's see, of the 8 people that submitted it, at least, I can look at oh, so close to getting, like, to finish. Please finish it if you can finish it, because we got quite a few people got, you have to get all the way to the end to get your results. Let me just update it, see if we've got a bit more than 8. 10 people have submitted it now. And here are the people that have, here's my students, good students. So Athawit, Alessandro, Fajar, Scarlett, Riani, Anna, Noor, Ratna, Livia. Now, what I could do as a teacher is I could have a look at your individual results to see how well. So Fajar, I'm gonna have a look at you. You don't mind, do you? So Fajar, how well do you think you know? Oh, Fajar thinks he knows the first conditional, the second conditional very well. 10 out of 10. Good. Is the statement true? Yes, it is. Well done. There were two sentences, but you got the first one, but there were two of them that we're using. You would do more online courses. I don't know if you do more online courses than anybody, Fajar. If I had much money, I would retake my studies. If I woke you up early, you wouldn't be late. Good. Would you mind if I called you back later? That's a very good caption for that cartoon. You thought it was funny. Okay. And you couldn't see the full picture on your mobile. That's good to know. So we'll get some feedback. So, but the point I wanted to make here is that I've got all of my students, and I could probably have a look. And let's who doesn't mind if I have a look at their answers? Scarlett, do you mind? Rana. Who should we look at? I don't want to pick on anybody. Well, who should we have a look? Got 12 responses now. So I can look at them. Oh, okay, Susanna, it's just come up. If you had more free time, you would bake a cake. All right. If I were you, I would stay at home during the pandemic. That's a good one. And if I had more time, I would write a letter to my friends. So I'm pretty confident that you are pretty good at the second conditional. Would you mind if we had a meeting in Salatiga? So you've got it right 4 times out of 4. So as your teacher, I'm pretty confident that you, 10 out of 10. Yeah, I think I would give you 10 out of 10 for the second conditional. I think you know it. Well, I'm going to come on to this in a minute. That's not exactly the reason. Okay. Now I could also look at the responses in a different way. So just to show you what this tool actually does, I could have a summary. This is really interesting, right? So this is my students so far, and I can see, look, 41% of my class think that they know the second conditional, that well. So that's, interesting. They're very confident students. And 100% of my class got that question correct. Very good students. Well done. So you can see, look at the responses here. Now, I'm very pleased that none of you got this wrong. But 12, both of these are second conditional. So, and I did say you can choose more than one answer. There's all the examples. Let's just have a look. I would go to Miami. I would take a Spanish class. I would learn more about using technology. I would read more books. I would listen to more inspiring podcasts. I would like to meet you in the park. Good. If I met him, I would ask him about my score. If I were you, if I were a flower, I would be a sunflower. Wow, that's a very poetic, hypothetical. Very nice answer. Okay. How funny? That's not very funny, but most people think it's quite funny. Somebody didn't find it funny. Okay, so you can look at the answers like that. You can also, just on this tool, you can generate a report. So I could quickly have it like this, and I can print it. I could download this as a PDF, save that on my desktop. What else can I do? I could go back to my responses, and you can download all responses as a Excel or CSV file. And then I can look at the responses like this. You see, I can have data. Depends how many students you've got. You got all their names. Obviously, I could have given you just one question. I could have asked you to write a 200-word story, and then I would have had your story. Okay, so I just think that although it's a tool that is used as a survey tool, like Google Forms is free, this is a freemium tool. So with Typeform, you get 10 questions, but I think you're limited in the number of responses for each survey and how many surveys, unfortunately. So it's not entirely this. You can, there's a free version, but it's limited. But there are many other survey forms out there. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a minute. I've been talking a lot. This was a very spontaneous kind of lesson idea. It's not a perfect lesson, but I'm aware of time. I would probably like to hear any comments or have a conversation with Tor or anybody else who wants to talk to me about this approach to either in class or remote English teaching, monitoring and assessment. Okay, so Tor, I think you're moderating questions and comments.
Oh, okay, thank you, Colm. Very nice presentation. This is new to me. Okay, I think we got some question. If you could look at the chat section as well, or do you want to choose yourself, or you want me to read for you, or?
I might have, because I was having so many questions about. Tell me some questions that I might have missed.
Okay. Wait. Chat. Okay.
Or if anybody wants to take their mic off and ask me directly, that's fine.
Okay. So this is from Miss Inda. I don't know what she was talking about. Where can I fill the survey form? Okay, and it's from Alessandro Roberto. Is there any alternative since short form only allows 10 questions at max?
Well, yeah, I know, like Google, I think Google Forms in Indonesia are free and very, very popular. They might not have as many different types of questions. Like the one I was using has a lot of different, it's very nice on a mobile phone. It has a good user experience. I would say, if you want to keep it very simple, just use Google Forms for now, because it's free. I don't think it's limited, and I think most students are familiar with it. Or Microsoft Forms. Yeah, Fajar is saying we could use Microsoft Forms.
Oh, actually, I have a question of my own.
Yeah.
If I may. Okay, so what you showed us is your example in a grammar lesson, right? When you are focusing on conditionals. My question is, have you ever used this in other lessons? For some vocabulary or reading or writing or?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You could be creative. Like, I could have just had pictures, right, of vocabulary items. Yeah. If I was doing a very low level lesson, right? I could have had pictures of vocabulary items, and you have to write what is, in a picture of, I mean, you can do all sorts of things with it. And I think you could use it for as long as somebody can use a computer or a mobile phone, which, you know, nowadays nearly everybody can, even, you know, like, I'm not saying that they should necessarily, but even like 7, 8, 9-year-olds are using computers and phones. Yeah, but I think it makes, you know, it's this like the focus of your conferences on, you know, the technology and learning. And I think if you have computers in your classroom in the school, you could do it in different ways. I mean, whether everybody's got their own laptop, computer, or mobile phone, or whether it's just the teacher, like I was sharing my screen and you would be projecting your laptop screen on the board. But actually, I think at the moment, the main way in which I'm imagining this type of thing being used, and what I liked about it a lot, is that although we did it a bit like a live lesson, right? The good thing was at the end of the live lesson, I had all of your individual responses, right? So I could monitor you all individually. But if I just sent you that survey as a homework task, you could all do it at your own speed, at your own time. And then you send it back to me. And again, I have all of your individual answers. So I would know who are my stronger students and who are my weakest students. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Colm. Some question also from Fajar. Maybe this is about some technicalities. And can we upload files, for example, audio files, or something like that? Can they accept audio responses? For example, the student don't have to type, but they can just speak in front of the type form.
Okay, so I can show you. Let me share my screen again.
Okay.
If I go back to my survey. I'm going to create mode. So this was my survey. If I created a new question, these are all the options of the different types of questions that I could have created. And there is one here called file upload.
Okay.
Okay. So I could have asked them to record something and upload an audio file, or I could have asked them to make a video and upload a video file. I could have also given them website links if I wanted to share with them website links. Yeah. Any more questions?
This actually not a question, but like a comment from Ratna Agustina. She mentions that quizzes also provide similar things, combining the survey, question, and explanation. Maybe if you know about quizzes, maybe you know the difference between these two software.
No, I know that there are. I think probably quizzes does this like very, very well. So yeah, no, it's good that Ratna is sharing that.
Okay.
And Ratna, do you use it then with your students in a similar way?
Ratna, if you want to speak, we could also unmute your microphone if you want. Or you can just chat. Okay, she did.
Okay.
Oh, no, not she. It's Fajar. All right. It's about almost time, but we still have some more minutes. Should you have any more questions or comments, anything before Colin end this session? At
You can
least
ask me
one more
about
question.
anything at all. You can ask me about anything at all. Tor.
Okay, about anything. Anyone? You can just raise your hand or you can type AMA. What is AMA? Fajar wrote AMA. Ask me anything. Oh, okay, that's a abbreviation for. Anyone? If you don't ask a question, I'm going to ask something like okay. There's one who is on screen. Fajar, do you want to ask?
I missed this. So the question is, in Google Form we can print out the questionnaire, right? So in case like you want to make it offline, so is it possible? And as far as I see that we can like design, like it's different from Google Form where it's not quite interactive, but in this website Typeform they're a bit interactive. So can we print it out? So we want to do it offline. So we design the questionnaire in the Typeform and then we print it out with the design like that.
I don't know. We'd have to explore it a bit more. I think it's just, I don't know, but I think it's a good question. What I like doing is I think sometimes as teachers we can be creative, right? We should be like using authentic texts are not written to teach English, right? What we do is we take an authentic text and we can then use it with our students to have to teach them English. And I think with technology, what I tried to do today was to show you don't only have to use the EdTech that has been developed for English language teachers, because there's a very small amount of EdTech that's been developed for English language teachers, is to think about technology and how can you adapt it for being used by an English teacher in this, simply. So Typeform has not been designed to help people teach English, but I think we can adapt it. And I think that there are a lot of things that we can do creatively, like almost like hacking the system, being creative with different innovations in technology, like WhatsApp has not been designed to teach English, but we can use WhatsApp to teach English. Any more questions?
Thank you, Colm. Thank you. Okay, maybe this one last question for me, if you don't mind.
Sure.
It's not related to your topic actually.
Okay.
But if you don't want to answer, it's all right. Since you are with the British Council, maybe you can share us any resources because many are here as English teachers. There's British Council materials or resources, online resources that we can use as English teachers, probably.
Fajar's putting something. What age group do people teach? This is one thing I'm interested in. Do you teach teenagers? Do you teach young learners? Do you teach adults?
I don't know.
How old are you?
There are some university lecturers here and there are some school teachers here.
The British Council, Fajar can help me and put them in the chat. There are resources for all age groups.
Yes.
All right, I've got something for you, Liviana. I'll give you I'll finish my talk with my 2 tips for that, okay? I'll share my screen. There you go.
Elementary school teachers.
All right, let's go. I was looking at your university, where it was. So you got Learn English Teens. This is the one for teenagers. And then we could have learn English kids. So this one is for kids. Now, one of the things I really like about this one is in the listen and watch. They got lots of great songs. I really like some of the songs, especially ones like very simple ones like this one. They've got a whole series of songs that are about like done by robots. I'll show you.
Hello, my name is Ali. Hello, I'm 9 years old. Hello, I'm pleased to meet you. This is my sister, this is my brother.
Okay.
Because we are almost time to the next session, to the book launch.
There are, there's activities, there's answers, there's audio. So,
dengan rombongan di oh sudah kata Mbak kemarin
right.
masih
I'll put another link in the chat because there are two, and Fajar is saying, yeah, Fajar, you should put a link to your wait there. And yes, there is a new library, a digital library that the British Council has just launched, a digital library with loads of resources. It's free, so for your students, it should be an incredible resource of free books, magazines, films. If maybe you went to the British Council Library in the past in Jakarta, now anybody in Indonesia can visit the British Council Library online for free. Thank you very much, Tor. Good luck with the book launch. You're on mute. You're still on mute.
Okay, thank you very much, Colm. Fantastic presentation. We are grateful to have you here in our event. And everyone, please give our applause to Colm Downes. You can use the reaction button on Zoom. Thank you, and thank you, Colm. Thank you, everyone. I think now we are ready to move to our next session, which is the book launch. So, Francis?